We're learning Ein Yaakov, in Baba Batra. The perfect way of giving tzedaka is the title. Rabbi Yochanan said, what is the meaning of the pasuk, one who is gracious to the poor has lent to God? If you're gracious to the poor, you're lending to God. Proverbs 19:17. If this were not an explicit pasuk, it would be impossible to say such a thing. It is as if we were saying, in regard to God, a borrower is a slave to the lender. So Rabbi Chia ben Abba said, Rabbi Yochanan pointed out a contradiction between two passages. It says, wealth will not avail in the day of wrath, but tzedakah saves from death. And it also says, treasures of wickedness will not avail, but tzedakah rescues from death. Why is the phrase about tzedakah mentioned twice? One verse refers to saving from an unnatural death. The other refers to saving from the punishment of Gehenna. Which verse speaks of saving from the punishment of Gehenna? The one that uses the word wrath. For it says, concerning the day of final judgment, the day of wrath is that day. And what kind of tzedakah saves a person from an unusual or unnatural death? That the other pasuk is referring to. When a person gives tzedakah without knowing to whom he is giving, and the poor man receives it without knowing from whom he gets it, this is the perfect way of giving tzedakah. Giving without knowing to whom you are giving, giving tzedakah without knowing to whom you are giving, excludes the practice of Mar Ukva, who used to leave money on the doorstep of poor people in his neighborhood. He knew to whom he was giving it. So the poor man receives without knowing from whom he gets it, excludes the practice of Rabbi Abba, who used to drop coins behind him for the poor to pick up, so the poor knew from whom they were getting it. So the Gemara asks, so how should you give tzedakah? You should put the money into a tzedakah box. An objection was raised. How can you say that everyone should put money in a tzedakah box? Haven't we learned in a baita? What should a person do that he may have male children? Rabbi Lezer said he should give generously to the poor. Rabbi Yeshua says you should make his wife happy before they fulfill their mitzvah together. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov said you should not put a coin into tzedakah box unless the person in charge of distributing the fund is as great a tzaddik as Rabbi Chana ben Taldian. Then how can you recommend that everybody should put money in a tzedakah box? Obviously, not every treasurer is as great a tzaddik as Rabbi Chana ben Taldian. The Gemara answers not that he has to be as great a tzaddik as Rabbi Chana ben Taldian, but as trustworthy as Rabbi Chana ben Taldian. Rabbi Abba said, Moshe said to the Holy One, blessed be He, Master of the universe, how is the glory of Israel going to be elevated? God replied, through when you take census. Right? This is connected with our parsha. When you take census, when you lift the head, when a census was taken, each person contributed half a shekel. The shkolim were then counted and used for tzedakah purposes. In other words, the mitzvah of tzedakah has the ability to elevate the Jewish people. Rabbi Abba also said, King Solomon, Shlomo Melech, the son of David, was asked, how great is the power of tzedakah? He replied, take a look at what my father David wrote in Psalms. He who has distributed widely to the destitute, his tzedakah endures forever. His pride will be exalted with glory. Rabbi Abba derives the power of tzedakah from the following passage. He shall dwell in heights, in rocky fortress. In his stronghold his bread will be granted, his water assured. Isaiah 33:16. Why will he dwell in heights and rocky fortresses in his stronghold? Because his bread he gave to the poor, and his water could be relied on by the destitute. We see from here the great power of tzedakah. Welcome to you.